As the fourth day of the month, good evening and welcome to 505. Coming up tonight, there's relief for commuters as the Ghana Private Road Transport Unions have suspended plans to increase transport fares following a crunch meeting with the Ministry of Transport.
Yes, it's through our decision of coming up with the increment, after the president's intervention of reducing the diesel by 2 cedis.
Also coming up tonight, Minority urges immediate action on Accra-Kumasi Highway following deadly brimstone tragedy that has left 15 people dead. We'll share more details with you shortly. Meanwhile, ranking member on the Roads and Highways Committee is demanding action to end recurring highway tragedies. Also tonight, bribery demands in public services rise as nearly 1 in 6 Ghanaians paid unofficial payment in 2025. We'll bring you data and statistics as far as this data released from the Ghana Statistical Service is concerned. Later this evening, HIV burden in Ghana more than 3 times higher among females than males. That's according to a data from the Ghana AIDS Commission, with more females testing for their status than men.
The Ghana Demographic Health Survey uses a lot of women. The Health Sentinel Survey uses a lot of women and other parameters. So more women test than men. Women are seen to have more apparently. The National Sentinel data is based on more of women testing than men testing.
And later this evening, in just 8 weeks, fire outbreaks leave millions in losses across the country. We have these and more stories plus some interesting analysis to do. Stay with us. We're coming to you live from our studios here. Digital address 0423598 North Laboni. Third Daddy walk on Class 91.3 FM in Accra. We also live on Ho FM 92.5, Hills 91.7 at Daklu, both in the Volta region. Max Empire 96.9 at Bazawa in the Upper East region. Dagbon FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio Park 96 in Spain. We're live on Facebook. Connect with us or join us with a thoughts, comments, and contribution to the hashtag 505. Alternatively, through our WhatsApp number 0500,000 202. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr. It's time. It's 505. Welcome. .505 is always brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go, Electoral and Ghana Limited, and Review Scratch for Win. Now to the very first story. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRT) has suspended its proposed transport fares increase following a meeting with the Transport Ministry and the government's decision to reduce diesel prices by 2 Ghana cedis per litre. The intervention, directed by President John Dramani Mahama and implemented through the National Petroleum Authority, took effect today, Tuesday, August 4, 2026, to cushion commercial transport operators and businesses against rising fuel costs. Deputy GPRT Public Relations Officer Samuel Amwa said the union welcomed the measure and would assess its impact before deciding on any fare adjustment. He added that the union would also consult its regional branches before taking a final decision. The GPRT had earlier proposed a 30% increment in transport fares, citing rising fuel prices and operational costs. Take a listen to Samuel Amwa, who speaks for the GPRT.
Our decision of coming up with the increment, after the president's intervention of reducing the diesel by 2 cedis, and then according to the president, they are going to make sure that for 1 month, these 2 cedis will be reduced from the petroleum. That is the diesel. That is for 1 liter, and it means that if a driver buys 1 gallon of diesel, he's saving 9 Ghana cedis. Actually, we find out that yes, where the fuel price, has gotten to, still the drivers are still suffering, and by the close of the day, their expenditures goes very, very high. But then we also thought it wise that increasing the transport fare right now will also push everything to just go up, and it will go and come back and hit us. So we decided that, as the president is saying, we'll hold on for the meantime to see what will happen, within this 1 month that the president says is giving this 2 cedis, this 2 cedis reduction on the diesel prices. So, we have decided to hold on for now to see what will happen going forward. Yes, that is true. after the two cities intervention, we decided that yes, it has not reflected, so we'll monitor to see it really today to reflect. And that because of the pressure coming from our members, we also decided that the two cities, we'll think about it, have a meeting with our members before taking a decision. So that was when, the transport minister also engaged the leadership. And finally, there is an agreement that we should hold on for now to see that going forward what will happen. It will depend on where the fuel price will go to. All right. If it happens that, like as I'm speaking to you, it went to around 19 cities to 20 cities a liter. Now it has come down to around 17 cities. Now Star Oil is selling around 16 cities. So if it happens that after the 1 month, if it goes up again, that is when we also have a meeting and think of what to do.
So that's the Deputy Public Relations Officer for the GPR2, Sambalamwa, speaking to Class News. Let me go on the phone line and speak with our reporters. Elisha Dakwa is my colleague in the Ashanti region. He works with our sister station in Kumasi, that's Kumasi FM, joining us this evening. Elisha, if you are with me, good evening, good to have you. I've lost Elisha on the line. We'll go to the various regions. Solomon Ahiable is also our Volta regional correspondent. He earlier had a conversation with the GPR2 chairman in the Volta region. Also, get to him shortly and have a conversation with him whether or not the directive by the GPR2 national is being adhered to by the regional executives of the GPR2. So stay tuned. We'll get that. Let me speak with Techiado, who is the Public Relations Officer for the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association, before we go to our reporters. Techi, good evening to you. I'm grateful for your time on 505. Now, we know that GPR2 has suspended its plan to increase transport fares by the 30%. But the other conversation has to do with prices of spare parts. 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with you on 505 where you talked about the fact that there hasn't been any increments in spare parts. Currently, as we speak, the drivers still attribute or are still attributing the proposed increment in transport fares to the rising cost of spare parts. What really is the situation in your outfit?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Let me say good evening to your viewers and listeners. Yes, as I said, I think 2 weeks ago we discussed about the same issue, and I make it clear that there's no increment. Since 4 to 5 to 6 months, I've told you relatively the price of spare parts stable in the market, and all of us were enjoying the good stability of this current CD dollar differential. We are benefiting from it. So there's nowhere saying that spare parts price has been increased. No, it's not true. You see, these drivers need to be a little more careful. We don't see the reason why always they want to attribute any increment, whatever, to spare parts. It's not true. As I said, it's never true. The prices are the same. See, I've been telling you, only few. It happens in any businesses. The demand and supply and scarcity, it happens in any business arena. That one, definitely, you will see the changes.
Okay, so you are saying
they should not attribute it to the entire spare parts prices. No.
Okay, so some individuals are increasing the prices because of the demand. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because you are not getting it. Even today, as for VIT, we have the 3 plus and 4 plus. Today, VIT, 4 plus, engine and gearbox, 26,000. It depends where you are getting it from. Some are selling 24,000. It depends. 3 plus, engine and gearbox, 20,000. The engine alone, that's the 3 plus, 15,000, 14,000. It depends where you are getting, because, got your point, we are not getting that particular engines. So now we are getting at least a few in the system. So the price will go up a little bit. But that doesn't mean all the spare parts prices are what I will shoot up astronomically. No, that's not true.
I see. So someone sent a message about a price that has gone up at Abosokan. I'll come to that shortly. But who regulates the prices of spare parts at Abosokan? I mean, of course, under your association, who regulates the prices of these spare parts?
KOJ, let me be honest with you.
Very well.
Ghana, there's no market in Ghana. Somebody regulate the prices. Because where you are getting your goods from, different from where I'm getting my from.
No. So in this conversation, I'm talking about Abosokan. No,
the bank I'm getting the loan from is different from the bank.
Techi, in this conversation, I'm asking directly at Abosokan who regulates the prices of the spare parts.
Nobody. No, the association, we don't have control over some of these prices.
So what is the essence? What is the essence of the association then?
No, because you know what? Before you can regulate some of these prices, it means that you have control over that person.
Okay.
The control is association. We are there to support the association to the members, but we cannot regulate because where you are getting the loan from, you don't know.
Okay.
Because you don't know the bank you are getting a loan from, you don't know. You don't know how much interest you are paying. That's where the problem is. That's why I keep on saying that we need the government support in the spare parts industry. We need soft loans. That the government can say, look, I've intervened. I've given soft loan. So whatever you're doing, try to adjust your prices. Do this. The association will make sure we regulate the prices. But now that I'm getting my loan from maybe EcoBank, you are getting yours from a Stanbic Bank. The interest rate is different. You understand? And where I'm getting my spare parts from is different from where you are getting your spare parts from. Some from Europe, some from Asia, some from Anglo-America, which is America and Canada. So it's different. The spare parts business, KOJ, is different from cement or rice or I don't know, or oil.
Okay.
From that.
So
business is different altogether.
Very well. So it means clearly that the conversation that prices are going high or up at Abosokan is true because one, maybe you are not aware. Again, you are talking about the fact that some individuals can't increase it due to where they are getting their loans from and where they are buying their products from. Again, somebody sends a message that he bought a beam for his car, 1,200 cedis, right? But a year ago, he bought it at 750 Ghana cedis. So clearly, within the space of 1 year, there's been an increment of the spare parts from 750 to 1,200. So that's an increase at Abosokan spare parts.
No, KOJ, yeah, thank you. I'm not disputing what you're saying. No,
Good.
as I said, we are more than 50,000, so I'm not disputing at all. You understand? And I can't go round all to, you see, more than 50,000 members. I can't control everybody. But what I'm saying is, there are some parts, definitely, the price will shoot up. But see, they shouldn't attribute to all the spare parts prices. That's where the problem is. When you say, at least one or two prices are shoot up, or the price is not the same price, I understand because of demand and supply. You agree to me. I even mentioned Faith engine, 4 plugs, to the one I asked, because the price, the engine gearbox is 26,000.
Very well.
It has gone up because we are not getting it. Now it's coming gradually. So maybe by end of this month or next month, you see more Faith engines, you see the price will start reducing. It depends. When there's more goods, the price also reduce. When the demand is high,
I see.
The price either the same or goes up.
Okay. Techi, let me thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll have an extensive conversation on this discussion. I'm grateful for your company. Yeah.
One thing I think forget about one thing. If you have time, just permit me.
Well, I there's no time, so just briefly. Then I take leave of you.
It's so briefly. It's very important. But you see, let's hang out there. Next time we'll talk about that. It's about the ban of overage car and salvage. It's very, very important.
Fantastic.
That's what I want to say.
Let's have a conversation on that tomorrow.
Sure.
Thank you. So that's Techi Ado, who is the public relations officer for the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association. Let me speak with my colleague Elisha Adakwa. Elisha, good to have you on 505. Thank you for your patience on the line. Now, the GPRTU has suspended its plan to increase transport fares. What is the situation in Kumasi? Have drivers already increasing transport fares, or it is the same?
Yeah, some of the drivers have increased their transport fare, especially the intercity drivers, intercity commercial drivers. Those who are not operating from any transport terminal. So they have, some of them have increased the transport fare, which is actually affecting some passengers in the Kumasi metropolis. But those who are operating from official transport terminal, especially the Philadelphia market, the Atampo market, and other transport terminals have still maintained the usual transport fare that they have been taking from the passengers. But when you come to Kumasi in the evening time, like this time now, you could see some of the transport operators taking transport fare unusual to the transport fare that they have been taking on during the daytime, especially those who are operating within the Kumasi metropolis, that is the intercity transport operator. So in Kumasi, the transport fare, some of the drivers, especially the intercity transport operators, those who are operating transport cars have increased the transport fare, while those who operate intercity transport have maintained their usual transport fare. According to them, they are waiting for official communication from the GPRTU,
I see.
as well as Crosswalk Association, so that they can go ahead maybe to increase it or to maintain the usual transport that they have.
Very well. But Elisha, what is the reason? Great.
Yeah.
What is the reason the transport operators are giving as far as the increments of the transport fares is concerned? I'm asking, what is the reason they are giving for the increment in transport fares? What is the reason?
So I spoke to some of the truck drivers. They have given several reasons, including prices of spare parts, as well as the recent increment in the petrol prices. So these are the main key factors or the reasons that they are citing for the increment in the transport fare.
I see.
In Kumasi.
Elisha, thank you so much for that update. So that's my colleague in Ashanti region with our sister station Kumasi FM in Ashanti region, Kumasi. Let me cross over to Ho FM 92.5 because my colleague Solomon Ahiabla is also in the Volta region. So good to have you on 505 as well. So I was speaking with our colleague in Ashanti region, Elisha. He tells me that in Kumasi, for instance, there's been increment in transport fares. I can't tell the situation in Volta region. You can tell us. What is it?
KOG, here in the Volta region, to be specific, the Volta regional capital, how to precise, the fare has not changed. They have not increased any fare. They are taking 60 cities, that is cars without air condition, and air-conditioned cars are taking 65 Ghana cedis. I spoke earlier with the GPRTU chairman for whole branch 2, Mr. Dixon Dobache. He mentioned that indeed government is making everything possible to ensure that the fuel prices, there is a change so that they can maintain the lorry fare, for which reason they are also waiting for the directive from the government or their leaders from the head office. But for now, they have not increased any prices for the transport. He also mentioned that when you look at what is happening, they will not fault anybody. They know what is happening at Iraq and other situations leading to the fuel prices increment, for which reason they are just waiting patiently to hear from their leadership from the head office before, if there will be a change of lorry fare increment, they will be able to effect that. But for now, they have not increased any lorry fare. He also assured that when it comes to the Volta region, they are together with the Pro Tour. So once they increase the lorry fare, it means the Pro Tour 2 is likely to increase the lorry fare. But for now, they have not increased. I spoke earlier with Keke riders who are Mahama Kandu riders earlier. They are having this concern that the government is coming in to support with 2 Ghana cedis for diesel. How about they that are using petrol? They are also appealing to the government to look at that for them. But for now, increment on lorry fare in the Volta region I can confirm that there is no increment for now. We can listen to Mr. Dixon Dogbache, the chairman for GPRTU Brand 2 Hall.
Actually, the fuel price and the increment of the lorry fare, we can't determine because our authorities are there, whereby we can't say that we have to increase unless we hear something from them. If not so, they will punish us. So what I know about this is that we cannot increase any fare. But this morning, I heard the news that the president that we should give 1 month. He's coming to do some changes, or you subsidize the fuel. So we are waiting for the 1 month. If we didn't hear anything from there, then we take action. Yes. So what I know about this is.
So for now, how much are you charging?
No, for now, the cars we have it in categories. We have air condition. There are two, and we call another one Alacha, which is not having air condition. That one we are taking 65. The air condition 70. So at the moment we are maintaining that fare. We have not increased yet. Yes.
Are we hoping that things will change?
Oh yes, of course, because what I know or what I have heard that because of this Iran-America war, make the fuel increment, the prices go high. This is not the political. This is rare. We are all seeing the internet, see what is going on in the global world. So as the president said, he is coming to do something about it. We are waiting for him.
So that's a conversation by my colleague Solomon Ahiableh with the chairman of the GPRTU. So any other thing you want to share with us as far as the region is concerned?
The region, as we know, has been very peaceful, and drivers, passengers are all cooperating to ensure that there is no challenge of fuel prices leading to increment on our lorry fares. But whatever it is, we'll keep our listeners updated.
So thank you so much for that update. So that's my colleague in the Volta region, Solomon Ahiableh, of course, with Ho FM at 92.5, and currently Ho FM is currently live, where Class FM is live, or 505 is live in Ho FM 92.5. So kudos to those listening to us in the Volta region. This is 505 on Class 91.3 FM and across the country and across the world on classfmonline.com. Requests for unofficial payments to access public services increased significantly in the second half of 2025, with nearly 7 out of every 10 citizens who encountered bribery reporting that public officials demanded extra payment. The latest governance data released by the Ghana Statistical Service shows that the proportion of Ghanaians who paid bribes rose from 14.3% in the first half of 2025 to 18% in the second half of the year. This means about 1 in 6 citizens paid a bribe to a public official during the period. Speaking at a governance series event organized by 3 Reports and the Ghana Statistical Service today, August 4, 2026, government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu said the findings indicate that bribery conditions worsened in the final 6 months of 2025, although Ghana's overall governance performance for the year improved compared to 2024. So that's the data coming from the Ghana Statistical Service there. This is 505 on Class 9. So we're trying to get Emmanuel Wilson, who is the chief crusader with the Crusaders Against Corruption, but unfortunately we're unable to establish a contact with him. As and when we get him, we'll put him on the line. Then we'll have a conversation, because this is a significant rise from 14.3% to 18%. That's a very worrying one, captured by the Ghana Statistical Service. Unfortunately, we were able to get Emmanuel Wilson on the line. But the minority caucus in Parliament has called on the government to urgently prioritize the completion of ongoing works on the Accra-Kumasi Highway following a tragic multi-vehicle collision at the Brimso Bridge that has left at least 15 people feared dead. In a press statement issued today, the caucus expressed profound sorrow over the incidents and which occurred on the Kumasi-Accra Highway, and extended condolences to the bereaved families while wishing the injured a speedy recovery. Here is a news desk report about the unfortunate incident.
A devastating multi-vehicle collision at Brimso Bridge on the N6 Accra-Kumasi Highway on Monday, August 3, 2026, has claimed multiple lives and left scores injured, marking one of the deadliest road accidents on Ghana's busiest transport corridor in recent memory. The crash involved a state transport company passenger bus, a fuel tanker transporting hydrocarbons from Accra to Kumasi, a Mitsubishi pickup, and a Kia Sorento, according to the Ghana National Fire Service. The collision occurred when the fuel tanker attempted to overtake the STC bus traveling in the same direction. The pickup was also involved in the crash, but its driver escaped and abandoned the vehicle. All 5 vehicles were engulfed in flames after fuel from the tanker ignited, with 2 fuel tanks spilling their contents, one falling into the Brim River and sparked a bushfire. The death toll from the crash has risen to 3, with the latest casualty being an 11-year-old girl who succumbed to injuries sustained in the crash while receiving treatment at Hawa Memorial Hospital. 2 people were initially confirmed dead after the accident, both occupants of the tanker whose bodies were burnt beyond recognition. 7 injured persons, including 5 males and 2 female, were initially transported to Hawa Memorial Hospital for medical attention. However, conflicting reports have emerged regarding the number of casualties. The STC bus driver, speaking in a widely circulating video, disclosed that the bus was carrying 31 passengers at the time of the crash, with only about 10 managing to escape before the fire engulfed the vehicle.
So that's a news desk reports. Let me take you back to our earlier story where we're talking about the increment in bribery paid to public officials, rising from 14.3% to 18%. I've been joined on the phone by Chief Crusader with the Crusaders Against Corruption, Mr. Emmanuel Wilson. Mr. Wilson, good evening to you. I'm grateful for your time on 505.
Good evening, and it's a pleasure.
Great. The Ghana Statistical Service says the proportion of citizens who paid bribes increased from 14.3% to 18% in the second half of 2025. What does the rise tell us about the state of corruption in Ghana's public service especially?
It just tells us that over the past years, we've been trying or pretending to be fighting corruption, but in reality, we are not fighting it. We've been pretending to be or behave like the ostriches, where we hide our head and think that no one is seeing us. You see, bribery, when you go to our criminal code or our laws, bribe taking and bribe giving is a clear offense, criminal offense for that matter. And so if you live in a jurisdiction where over the past, consistently till now, you see people engaging in an act that offends the law. Meanwhile, we don't have anyone enforcing those laws. The citizens have the tendency of believing or getting to a stage where they feel that, okay, the laws are just in books, but they don't exist. And so they get up and start having an attitude of that which is an illegality. It is now a norm for us. And that is exactly where we are. If you live in a country where 7 out of 10 engages in bribe taking and bribe giving, it simply tells you that we are speedily getting to a stage where we may, if we don't do anything drastically, we'll get to a stage where we will have 10 out of 10 engaging in bribe giving and bribe taking. In other words, it becomes a way of life. I'll give you a practical example. I think somewhere last year or so, I was standing with 2 colleagues and we're having a conversation. One of them is actually a pastor. And so the other person was talking about the frustration he's going through because he's trying to take some services at one of the state agencies. But they keep tossing him, go and come, go and come, and go and come. The pastor, whether consciously or unconsciously, said that, oh, but this one is not an issue. When you go, just try and put something in an envelope and give it to whoever is involved. This posture, you may think it's a joke, but it is rather alarming. It is alarming because this is a person who is confirming to you that, look, the approach that you are using, you will always be delayed. And so it is just a norm that if you want any services to be rendered, put something in an envelope and you get it done. This is the mindset of the ordinary Ghanaian. Whether the person is a pastor, is an imam, is whatever, that is the mindset of an ordinary Ghanaian. Because those who decide that they are going to adhere to the law, they will be forced in what they need to get. Those who rather the law will not punish them, and they will also get what they need to get. And so this communicates clearly that, or it reconfirms what I keep, that within the country we pretend to be fighting it, and meanwhile we are just not getting anything out of it. And what thing have we done over the past years in the fight against corruption? Even with under this new government, what drastic thing have we done? That's what says that we are really committed to fighting corruption. One policy, strong policy, one strong structure that the president or the government has put in place when it comes to the fight against corruption. What has been done? Those are the things we should be asking ourselves. And so if we do an assessment and we realize that indeed we have not really done anything pragmatic to fighting corruption, to making sure that the laws are enforced, to make institutions reform in a way that human interface will be reduced, to make sure that individuals who are heading these institutions are being held accountable by when we have people engaged in corrupt practices that they are doing, they are held accountable by making sure that when we have whistleblowers, people who decide that they have to do the right thing, but the system is frustrating them, they will be bold enough to go to law enforcement to report, and they believe that they will be protected as whistleblowers. So we have all these things put in. It would be so for anyone to think that there can be any better outcome other than the 7 out of 10 that we are just hearing.
The report indicates that Ghana's overall governance performance improved compared to 2024, yet bribery conditions worsened. How do you explain this contradiction?
In governance, we have so many components that makes up governance. The economy is part of governance. Education is part of governance. Health is part of governance. There are so many sectors. Local government. There are so many sectors that are all part of governance. And indeed, fiscal policy is also part of governance, which includes how we spend our money, which includes how we stabilize the dollar-CD relationship, which includes how we take care of our fuel and all that. So yes, in all, if you put all these components together, yes, the right-thinking person comparing now to 2024 or some years back can confidently say that this is better than 2024. But the fact that this is better than 2024, that is holistically, doesn't mean that when you go into the individual components, you will not find some that are worse compared to previously. I don't know if you understand that.
Sure. I see.
So that exactly is what is happening. You may have holistically the governance being better, but when you take the individual components, like corruption fight, you will realize that it may not be better, it may not be worse, it may be the same. If you take this particular one, you may think that this has improved and all that. So yes, holistically, governance may be better, but that does not mean that corruption is being fought.
The example you cited a clear but a very worrying example about the pastor and what telling the other person what he should do.
Yes.
Now, if you want to correct this anomaly, as many would describe it, how do we change it? Who begins the change, and what could be driving, especially what could be driving public officials demanding these unofficial payments, where they know clearly that this is a legal service they are supposed to provide to a citizen of Ghana?
You see, it is a bit complicated and complex. Every single person has a role to play, and that is what makes it complicated and complex. I remember Kufuor, His Excellency, the former president, once made a profound statement, and he said that government of Ghana pretends to be paying workers, and workers also pretend to be working. This is very profound. So one of the things that needs to be done is that government-worker relationship, as far as fair wages and practical wages are concerned, should be looked at. I'm not saying that should be an excuse, but that is one thing that should be looked at. The second thing is that whether you like it or not, in every jurisdiction where human interface abounds, you will surely have some individuals engaging in bribe taking and bribe giving. So that is there. That is why reforms are very, very, very necessary, especially in this era of technology. You need to have ways by which human interface will be reduced. There's a jurisdiction on this African continent where if today you want to set up or register a company, all you need to do is to get onto the internet, whether through your laptop or through your smartphone or whatever. Go to the internet and then put in all the necessary information by going to the Registrar General's office website. Registration is done online. Payment that needs to be done is done online. And when your certificate is ready, you'll be given a notification. If you have to go there and pick it in person, you go and pick it. If you want it to be mailed or shipped to you, it will be done. This is a practical way of reforming the system. In this instance, there wouldn't be an avenue of me walking to the Registrar General and joining a queue and now being forced to pay some bribe before I am jammed the queue and all those things. So one other thing is that we need a practical way of reforming our systems with the mindset that we are going to reduce the human interface. That is one thing that needs to be done. The other thing is also that, as I indicated, we have the laws. What prevents the Ghana police and the various institutions from that are supposed to enforce the laws from enforcing the laws? And of course, there will be people who argue that even the Ghana police who are supposed to enforce the laws, there has been statistics that comes out that says that they are also part of those who take bribe and who encourage bribe taking and the rest. So if these are the same people who are supposed to enforce laws against bribery, and some of them are found in it or are partakers of it, it also becomes difficult. So that also needs some reformation. We can have a special unit in charge of enforcing anti-corruption laws in this country. And those special units must be individuals who are made up of people of integrity, who believe that irrespective of your political affiliation, irrespective of your pedigree in society, irrespective of who you are, if you offend any anti-corruption laws, you will be dealt with. Those are the things that needs to be done. And most importantly, our protection of whistleblowers. We also live in a jurisdiction where if today I decide to go to a certain institution and I'm being forced to pay bribe and I said I won't engage in it, despite the frustration and the delay I'll go through, if I decide that I'm going to report so that the right thing will be done, I will go and report, but at the end of the day, I may end up being victimized. And the same persons I'll go and report to may be the same persons who will come to the institution and come and tell the institution that Ivan Wilson came to report you guys here. And so you should be very careful. The next time when I go there seeking audience or services, I'll be treated even worse. These are the things that we need to look out for. So these are some of the holistic things that we need or approaches that we need to take care of. Look, this thing can also be done by taking a cue from even the private institutions. I personally had an encounter with this institution I went to, and when I got there, I didn't enjoy or I didn't appreciate the services that I got. I turned around and at the reception, I saw a bold number and an inscription that says that if you are dissatisfied with our services, call this number. Can you believe that when I called that number, it went straight to the CEO of that institution? It was his personal number. And I told him what had happened. About 2 or 3 hours later, he called back and also got the other person who offended me on the line to apologize and do the right thing. These are some of the things that we need to do. Can't we adopt this same thing at the various state institutions that we have? That will go to a ministry and you can't even have access to a public servant just because he's a minister. You can't even have access to a public servant just because he's a deputy minister, director, and all that. Meanwhile, private institutions, as I've just told you, even the CEO has bet his number because he's interested in making sure that his organization grows. We are not seeing the same spirit in the public sector.
I see. Ms. Hauser, thank you so much. But you need to make yourself available in the office one of these days. I'm grateful.
I will do that, my brother.
Thank you. So that's Emmanuel Wilson, who is a chief crusader with the Crusaders Against Corruption, helping us in this conversation. It's a very interesting one. I remember last night the police saw me at night and said, Charlie, he wants to take something from me. It's a very serious matter that I think that government should keep an eye, or the security agencies and the corruption, anti-corruption body should take a keen interest in this. Some 41 minutes after 5 here on Class 91.3. My colleague Portia is with me in the studio. She has a copy of the statement from the minority, noting that the government has committed 1.7 billion US dollars for the proposed Accra Kumasi Expressway, with these funds set aside in an account at the Bank of Ghana. However, the caucus argued that approximately 300 million US dollars would be sufficient to complete the existing bypasses and ongoing works on the existing highway, while acknowledging that the long-term vision of constructing the expressway is commendable. The minority insisted that the immediate priority should be to complete the existing highway that can save lives now. Bosha, tell us more. What's in the statement?
Okay, so KOJ. The minority in their statement, first of all, extended their deepest condolence to the bereaved family and also sympathized with those who sustained injuries. They went on to state that the unfortunate incident is yet another painful reminder of the urgent need to address the long-standing safety challenges on the Accra-Kumasi highway. The statement went on to say, far too many lives have been lost on this highway, and the nation cannot continue to accept these recurring tragedies as inevitable. They therefore make a strong appeal to the government to urgently prioritize the completion of all ongoing sections of the Accra-Kumasi highway, including the existing bypasses and other outstanding works. They also noted that the government has committed $1.7 billion for the proposed Accra-Kumasi Expressway project. The statement concluded with they stating that the priority should be completing the existing highways that can save lives now.
Right. Thank you, Portia, for bringing us what's the minority statement say. We'll go on the phone line and speak with Reverend Cyril Benedict, who is the president of the accident victim support. Unfortunately, because of time, we're unable to actually get him on the line. This is 505 here on Class 91.3 FM in Accra.
"30 years ago, MTN arrived in Ghana and everything changed. Now, to celebrate 30 years, we are giving back big time. The MTN at 30 promo is here. 9 Toyota Land Cruiser Prados to be won. Over 10 million Ghana cedis in rewards, plus so much more. Connect to your everyday hustle on MTN. Make video calls. Browse the internet for business with family and friends. Connect your home to MTN Fiber. Make that money move on Momo and stay ahead, because every move counts. Ghana, let's celebrate 30 years of MTN with the MTN at 30 promo. Use more MTN services, build more points, and win big. Dial *530# or visit the My MTN app for more.
And we're back from that quick commercial break. Well, more than 3 times as many females as males are living with HIV in Ghana. That's according to the Ghana AIDS Commission's 2025 National HIV Estimate. The report indicates a significant gender gap in the country's HIV burden, with females accounting for a much higher proportion of people living with the virus. The Commission says that for every 100 males living with HIV, more than 3 times that number of females are affected. The estimate shows that about 337,435 people are currently living with HIV in Ghana. Did you hear the number? Let me repeat again. 337,435 people are currently living with HIV/AIDS in Ghana. The Greater Accra, the Ashanti, Eastern regions recorded the highest number of people living with HIV, with 77,512, 68,354 and 42,704 cases respectively. Meanwhile, the Western North, Northern, Upper East, Upper West, Uti, Savannah and Northeast regions each recorded fewer than 10,000 people living with HIV. Well, let me speak with the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Prosper Akambong. Doc, good evening to you. I'm grateful for your time on 505.
Good evening to you and your cherished.
Doc, I hope I got the name right.
Yes, Akambong, you got it right.
Fantastic. I'm grateful. So the latest estimate shows that every 100 males living with HIV, more than 3 times as many females are living with the virus. What factors are driving this significant gender disparity, first of all?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to explain. First of all, we would understand that the female anatomy, the genital anatomy, is a receptacle, and therefore, when it receives, you have all the sperms and then the virus within that has the tendency to increase the risk of infection. Whereas the male, you need breach of mucosa to be able to get the infection through. But more importantly, is how we gather our data. The national data is gathered through several factors, for which women do more testing than men. So if you take the Health Sentinel surveys, where pregnant women, when they go to hospital, they have to do HIV testing. The Ghana Demographic Health Survey and other surveys, women are at the center of the testing. So you take the disproportionate high number of women tested, of course, you get more test results from the women than the men. Generally, in the population, male testing is much lower, and it's far lower than the female testing. The question to ask is, if the men were also testing at the same rate as the women, would the statistics be what we are seeing? But for what we are seeing right now, we have 1:3 female preponderance.
But Doc, why are the men not testing? They fear they have HIV.
It's all because of the issue of stigma and discrimination. Let me also add that generally women have better health-seeking behaviors than men. Women would always go to hospital when something's wrong with them. Men, they always say, "Man up, you're a man. Don't rush for anything, unless you are critically ill before they go to hospital." So, as part of the general better health-seeking behavior, then women tend to find themselves being tested more than the men. And the men, and the whole testing phenomenon is because of the stigma associated with the disease. And as we had a discussion today, stigma should not be the reason why we should criminalize some of these people. The people living with HIV are like ordinary people. Some of them, until they open their mouth to tell you, you know they have HIV, because the medicines we give them are very effective. And some are living as long as their God-given years are granted them. And therefore, they are just like anybody who would take a diabetic patient who would take a tablet a day, or a hypertensive patient taking a tablet a day. Why would not an HIV person take a tablet a day? And why should such a person be discriminated or have stigma issues around him or her? It's because, our population generally stigmatizes the issue of sex. Sex is a daily phenomenon of human beings. And therefore, it is not anybody who is promiscuous who would get the infection.
Exactly.
Even normal persons who have lived very decent lives occasionally get infection. You can live a decent life, but for one mistake of a partner or another, then you get the infection. Should we criminalize or stigmatize such kind of persons? Not at all.
Yeah, I agree. Doc, what specific interventions is the Ghana AIDS Commission implementing to reduce the new infections among women and girls? And of course, everyone, for instance, because I know that the commission is, over the past weeks or months, have implemented some great initiatives to reduce this number. If you can share some with us.
Yes, so if you look at the statistics, if you look at the age group 15 to 49 years, they have the highest brunt of infection, and that's the workforce that we're looking at. And the women proportion in that age group is also 1:3, 3 females, 1 male. But more concerning is the age group 15 to 24 years, who account for 27.3% of all new infections. It's a very young age.
Yeah.
So in our new prevention strategy, we are rolling out a lot of objectives or strategies. One, we want to bump up the testing rate, for us to be able to get to epidemic control, a lot of people have to test, and then we know who are positive, we put them on treatment. Because as long as they're on treatment and they get to undetectable levels, they cannot transmit the disease. Secondly, we want to make other services really available, like pre-exposure prophylaxis. Pre-exposure prophylaxis means that if your lifestyle is that risky and puts you at a very high risk of getting HIV, then you can take some medication to prevent you from getting infected. We also want to roll out post-exposure prophylaxis. These are services that when you get involved in very risky sexual encounter or other encounters, rape, unintended sexual encounter, which is unprotected, then you can go and have the medications to prevent you from getting the disease. One of such kind of medication is lenacapavir, which we want to bring up next year, from the first quarter of next year. It's a twice yearly injectable, and once you take it, you get almost 100% protection from getting a infection. For that one, we'll target key populations like female sex workers, men who have sex with men, intravenous drug users, and then other general population vulnerable people who, by their lifestyle, are vulnerable. And if you meet the criteria, you should also be available, including the young women and then the young girls you spoke about.
I see.
We also want to roll out condom vending machines. You know, when you go to a chemist shop to buy a condom, everybody will tend to look at you. It becomes stigmatizing. We want to roll out these condom vending machines so that people can have discreet access to condom services. You go and then you can pick your condom.
But Doc, does it suggest that people, the young ones, are not really using the condoms?
Yes, you would infer from recent media publications about public opinion about the use of condoms.
Yeah.
Young guys will say, "Why do I eat a toffee with the rubber on?" You understand?
Yeah.
And that is the reason why they are not prone to condom uses. The other reason is that the stigma associated with going to a chemist shop to buy a condom. So it makes them reluctant as well. So we think that if we make these services readily available at a discreet place where somebody can just go and pick a pack of 2 or a pack of 3, then they will find a reason. Once they have it, they will have reason to use it.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Doc, thank you so much for your time. And I'm sure that we'll have constant conversations about this education from the AIDS Commission so that we can educate the public more. I'm grateful for your time this evening.
Thank you very much.
So that's Dr. Kamasel Prosper Kambon, who is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. So Emmanuel, Prempe, and the rest, the Ghana AIDS Commission says that very soon condoms will be secret. They will have a shop where you can go there secretly to go and pick up your condoms. So for those of you who are shy to buy condoms at 10 cedis, Prempe, now it will be free. You pass by the corner, go and pick up your condoms, go and do your own thing. Because the young boys and girls are not wearing the condoms at all. That is from the Ghana AIDS Commission. They say they can't eat the toffee with rubber. That's according to the Director General. That's what he said. So Prempe, change from that. From 2027, let it be your New Year resolution. It's time for business.
Well, KOJ on that note, the Bank of Ghana has directed all regulated financial institutions to reduce their non-performing loans to not more than 10% by the end of 2026, warning that high levels of bad loans continue to constrain lending and weigh on Ghana's economic development. According to the governor, Dr. Johnson Esiama, although the banking sector has made significant progress in cleaning up its balance sheet, more work is needed to strengthen credit quality and create room for increased lending to businesses. He was speaking at the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners Ghana and Bank of Ghana's forum in partnership with the Bank of Ghana this afternoon. Now, the Ghana reference rate, the benchmark used by commercial banks to price loans, is set to rise marginally to 10.61% in August 2026, up from 10.59% in July. The latest adjustment follows July's upward revision, which ended months of consecutive declines in the benchmark rate. However, the 0.02 percentage point increase suggests that borrowing conditions are unlikely to experience any major shift in the short term. The Ghana reference rate serves as the benchmark pricing loans by commercial bank. While it does not represent the final interest rate charged by borrowers, it provides the base rate to which banks add credits, risk premiums, operational costs, and profit margins when determining lending rates. On the international front, Nigerian billionaire Femi Otedola has signaled his intention to eventually secure major control of First Holdco, the parent company of First Bank of Nigeria, after committing more than 600 billion naira of his personal wealth to the banking group. The declaration marks Otedola's clearest indication yet that his rapidly expanding investment in First Holdco is not merely a portfolio position, but it forms part of a longer term strategy to take controlling ownership of Africa's oldest and most influential financial institutions. Now, on the foreign front, let me bring you some stories related to oil, and oil prices fell to a 3 week low on Tuesday, that is today, as senior US officials raised hopes of a deal with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent both announced talks had progressed to allow shipments to potentially resume as soon as possible this week. The cost of a barrel of Brent crude, the global benchmark for oil prices, fell by almost 5% to under $80 per barrel on the news of supply disruptions potentially being eased. But the failure of previous negotiations in recent months to de escalate the conflict between the US and Iran has led to a volatile oil market, with drivers ultimately being hit by higher fuel prices at the pump. So that's it for business. Back to you, Koji.
Thank you, Prempe, for bringing us business. Let's do some messages before I take leave of you. This one says, KOJ, there's something going on at the Ghana Police Service that many have not taken notice of. When you have a case at the police station, the police is assisting you, they will ask you to give them some substantial amount to go and pay bribe for you before your case is solved. Well, this is an allegation. Obin Tema came through it. That's GHR corruption is on another level. That's what he shares with us. PM Don in Pram Pram says, KOJ, this minority must give us a break. What did they do with their 8 years in power? Did the Kumasi Road just spring up? They should just spare us. They just spare our ears. Hashtag 505. He adds that. Francis in Accra says, hi KOJ, as the crude price is dropping on the world markets, if the price drop in the next window, will our trotro drivers be willing to bring the increment down? In our transport sector, the opposition elements are pushing for a rise to affect inflation so that it can go against the NDC government. Okay, that's what Francis in Accra also shares with us. Prosper in Dawanya says, hello KOJ, did I hear the micro minority asking the government to speed up works on the new Accra Kumasi expressway? Is it not the same minority that few weeks ago said Mahama can never complete the expressway and that it was a mirage? Come on, MPP never ceases to amaze Ghanaians. Hashtag 505. Prosper came through with that. Saki in Gulf City says, good evening KOJ. Greater Accra regional drivers are too greedy. They are the people who have been influencing increments in transport fares, especially the small the small boys. Okay. Hi, Class FM. The burden of these fires is becoming too much. We need a thorough investigation and people brought to face the law. It's too much. They want this government to look unpopular. Mary in who came through with that. Good evening. She adds that. Let me finally do this one. Ifo Komla says, Kwame, the suspects of the Ghana road transport operators not to increase transport fare is a very good. I'm sure you're talking about the suspension, rather. It's a very good news when the President John Dramani Mahama has directed that 2 Ghana Cedis petroleum products are the best approach, okay? On behalf of my team, I'm grateful for your company in the last 60 minutes. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr. We'll do the same time tomorrow at 5 p.m. here on Class 91.3. But in the meantime, I leave you in the hands of Mr. Mahuto, who will drive you home safely. Until then, it's a good evening and a good night.